move on to the good stuff. We've been waiting since earlier in the show. Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Oh, we're getting spicy?
Are you ready for this?
We're getting spicy.
Are you ready for this?
Let's go.
Perfect, dude.
Let's go.
Guys, is CP3 a top 5 point guard of all time? Regardless of result, this series, is he top 5 point guard of all time? Where does he stand? I mean, you can tell me if this series has an impact on it, but
To me, he's fifth, and
give me your list.
All right.
I want to hear your list, and then tell me where he stands on it.
All right. So first, I have Magic Johnson. Obviously, made
Okay.
the finals at age 20, won MVP. He was able to play every position. Not really much to debate about that.
I don't even think you have to explain that.
Yeah.
He's the clear-cut number one.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Second, I have Steph. I don't really need to go too much in depth on him, to be honest. To me, he changed the game of basketball. I mean, he's got people shooting from half court confidently, doing all this crazy shit.
Greatest shooter of all time?
Yeah,
probably.
I mean, like, to me, like, and that's just
No
like,
question.
Yeah, like to me, Steph is just like those 1 and 2 are just they are what they are.
And he's a point guard in your book, just to be clear. Because some people
here's the
argue
thing.
that. I think he is.
When I put him in there this afternoon, I was saying to myself too, I'm like, damn, is he a shooting guard? And like that is a strong point, but I would probably list him as a point guard because he's handling the ball the whole time. Because when he plays the one when Clay's there, and he, like I said, his usage rate and stuff like that. Like,
I think we all agree on that, right, Nick?
yeah, I would say he's a guard.
I think he's a point guard.
Yeah.
He creates offense.
I got him at point guard.
Yeah, perfect. Exactly. That's exactly what I was saying. He creates offense.
So is Allen Iverson a point guard to you?
I mean, because that's the thing. Like, this is where it gets dicey. Is a lot of people have to pick and choose where players fit. Like,
No, he's
we're gonna.
Because
I mean,
Eric Snow.
Eric Snow.
I'm sure Oscar Robertson's probably on someone's list here, and a lot of people will be like, "Oh, is he a point guard?" I mean, I guess it all depends on your interpretation. So you guys, it's completely up to you here. But I just want to know where CP3 stands.
So finish your top
So,
five.
yeah,
So
Mike,
I
you
have
go.
John Stockton. Never missed the playoffs with the Jazz. I have John Stockton at third. He won 2 MVPs. Never won a championship. I mean, but you could argue he's the best player to never win a championship outside of Charles Barkley. So, I mean, you could say that. I didn't see too much of John Stockton, but just what I read and, like, old highlights and stuff.
11-time All-NBA, 10-time All-Star,
Yeah, so.
5-time All-Defensive. Like, that's ridiculous.
Now, number 4,
Ridiculous.
I didn't see him. He was 30 years before I was born, but Oscar Robinson. And the reason is when Russell Westbrook averaged the triple-double, I started looking into him because that was the name that they were drawing him to. And it was like, okay, so somebody averaged the triple-double in 1961, and it didn't happen again until 2016 or whatever it was. And it's like, okay, that's 40 years. Like, there's a reason that didn't happen. And my thing is even though he didn't win the MVP that year, he finished third because Wilt was averaging like 50 and 25, and Bill Russell, I think, won it. I think I was reading that earlier. Bill Russell won it. But the only thing that's a little controversial in that, back then, dude, players chose the MVP. So my thing is putting it in today's terms, they were when Russ and Harden were going at it for that MVP, they were saying, oh, it's about winning. It's about winning. And at the time, the Rockets had a better record. If the players were voting that year, would Harden have beat Russ for that MVP? So that's what I thought was like, okay, that's a discussion that you can kind of, correlate it into what
you can make an argument.
Yeah, so I mean, to me, I would put Oscar Robertson number 4.
Here's my one follow-up question too. Like, do you feel comfortable putting him on your list knowing that the competition was much worse back then? Like, he was just steamrolling people, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I mean, it's hard
like,
though because like
I'm not going to discredit what he did, but top 5, we're talking top 5 all time, you know?
Like
I mean, how do you feel?
Yeah,
I want to hear how both of you feel about
I still think he was iconic. Like he's mentioned when you mentioned those great statistics. Like that would be like almost ignoring Wilt Chamberlain.
Right.
And you can't really do that. 100 points. Like I said, the dude averaged in 1961 50 points and 25 rebounds.
Because I think that both of their games probably could translate into future NBA generations. So
Well, I would actually be curious about Wilt because back then there was no time in the paint.
He would have been fine in the 90s probably. You know what I mean? Just physical game.
It is very different.
I don't know
though,
about
because,
now,
like I said, the 3 seconds in the paint.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
So it would have been a lot different. He couldn't just camp out down there.
Right.
And then for me, number 5, I have Chris Paul.
Wow, so he makes your top 5.
Yeah. I just feel like over the past few years, his leadership has been great. Every time he goes to a new team, the team just comes up. For me, what really solidified it was when he went to the Thunder. Like, they traded him to the Thunder, and everybody thought he was going to get balled out. And he's like, no, I'm going to stay, and we're going to do it. And they were the 5th seed. I mean,
that couldn't have been more impressive.
I mean, that was seriously, like, to me, that was my moment. Like, okay, Chris Paul is really a good player. He went to Houston. Everybody was saying, oh, he's not going to be able to coexist with Harden. He coexisted with Harden. And right now, he's 3 wins away from having a chip before Harden. So now who was the problem?
So another question then.
Good point.
Another question, and Nick, I think you're like this too, but who did he bounce out of your top 5? Who would have been there prior?
All right, so
like who would give me a few names?
Wait a minute. So the finals really dictated his spot
to me,
top
yeah,
5.
because he did it. And the person that I'm going to tell you right now, I left him off the list, and this is probably going to blow up and get.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, no, I love, dude, Russell Westbrook. That's who it was, dude, and it's tough because it's like, I love Russell Westbrook, dude. He averaged a triple-double for 3 straight seasons. He's a dog. Like, I just love the way he plays the game of basketball.
Well, and you're a known big fan of Russ.
Yeah,
I mean,
like,
I love Russ too, but I wouldn't have had him in my top 5.
He was
personally.
actually, and it's hard because it's like great Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, Tony Parker. Like, those are all players that I saw.
Yeah, see, I couldn't take him over Jason Kidd or Steve.
Yeah, like
Nash.
I'm trying to look at it in totality. I would.
I'm loving this right now.
This is good though. Like this is a good take, and it's a fair one. Like you can argue it, and you're correct in the way you're approaching it.
When I initially did it, I almost was tempted to put Chris Paul at 4 and put Russell at 5 and take out Oscar because I didn't really get to see Oscar, but
you still can.
Yeah,
I mean, listen, it's open to your interpretation.
Yeah, it's hard, dude, because like I said, it's like, so to me, Oscar, Chris Paul, and Russ to me are just like that fringe. But that was just the way, currently right now when I was asked, that's the way I put them. But to me, man, Russell Westbrook is like, he's an iconic figure. Like, you're going to look back in 10, 20, 30 years, and you're not going to be able to tell the story of the NBA without talking about those seasons. He's been to a finals. He's a terrific leader. He gets the best out of his players. Like, Paul George had arguably his best seasons with Russell Westbrook. And I just feel like he gets shit on a lot because, like, he may make bad decisions or make bad turnovers here and there, but, like, he's playing as hard as he can. Like, give me that guy any day of the week.
He's got a bad rap because, like, the public thinks that he can't play with anybody. That's what they think.
And it's false because you've never heard a teammate trash him, ever. You've never heard a teammate say a bad thing about Russell Westbrook.
They think that his game doesn't mesh with other players. That's the public perception. It's probably unfair to a degree.
Russell Westbrook's biggest downfall is he can't shoot from the outside.
But I feel like KD left OKC because of Russell.
Probably it was soft, and that's one of the reasons I have such my biggest gripes with KD.
Right.
Because he could have won with Westbrook. They were up 3-1 on the Warriors, dude. They could have won.
I wish he stayed.
Those are growing pains.
Yeah.
Those are growing pains. Chris Paul's been there before with the Clippers.
Yeah.
So it's like you see all that, and it's just like, it sucks. But
he left when the going got tough.
yeah, so
you know?
my 5th would be Chris Paul, and like I said, really, really close is Russell Westbrook.
And that's even though he hasn't won the finals yet. You're okay with him being there regardless.
Yeah, and this is kind of predicated on I think he's winning the finals.
Yeah.
So,
okay, that's fair. That's fair.
So, like, you know, a little bit of a grain of salt, but
I like it, though. I wasn't sure if he was going to make anyone's list here. Nick,
Yeah.
I mean, why don't you tell us your list, Nick?
I'm different from you guys. You asked all time, right? So like I can't do that because I gotta be real, right? Like I can only go off what I see. My eye test is different. Like I can't go back 30 years and be like, oh well, he's better than Russell Westbrook. I mean, it's just unfair.
Yeah, because you didn't watch him.
Two different eras. So I'm going off of 2000s, right? From the year 2000 to now, and my top 5 right now: Steph Curry. I'm gonna go
no cat.
Steve Nash. Ooh. CP3.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Jason Kidd.
Ben Simmons?
Tony Parker. Let me say it. Tony Parker.
Wow. Okay.
He was a big factor in the Spurs dynasty. He was. He led that team.
I mean, for the 2000s, I agree with that.
He's so underrated.
Absolutely.
He's so underrated.
You could put Westbrook in there, but my thing with Westbrook is he's a ball hawk, man. He's a ball hawk. A point guard dishes it out.
He gets 18 to 20 assists.
I get it. But he shoots more than the average point guard. So for me, I put him in the shooting guard kind of category. Like
he knows he's a shooting guard. He can't shoot.
I know, but he shoots a lot.
I got you.
He shoots a lot, right? Like whereas
a lot of attempts.
Yeah, and like for my thing is like if you watch Tony Parker back in the day, Oh my God.
Mid-range was
He
unstoppable.
makes everybody better.
shots. He created shots.
Mid-range was unstoppable.
Of course, it helped to have Duncan in there to spread the floor and stuff like that. But for me, he was awesome. So I got Tony Parker in there, and that's my top 5. I got Curry, Paul, Nash, Kidd, and Parker. You can swap Chris Paul and Steve Nash. To me, they're hand in hand. Like, Steve Nash had unbelievable years, back-to-back MVPs. He was awesome.
Which is weird that he did, because the one year he was averaging like 9
He was
points.
amazing. Like, I loved watching Steve Nash play. He was fun to watch. He reminds me of like Luka is gonna be better than Steve Nash. I think long term. But they kind of they're like similar and fun to watch. You know, like they're very exciting and very entertaining. So for me, I'm going. I mean, Steph Curry's number 1. Obviously, he changed the game, like you said earlier.
Yeah, I mean, he's just
no doubt about it.
That's why I had him number 2, just because, like I was saying, but you did from the 2000s, which is an awesome perspective, because like your list is hard to argue. It really is, and like I'm saying, like I said, that's what, with Russ is just so hard to, like, I would put him top 10. It's just he's really really tough when you're getting into those 5 players. It's difficult.
And I'll be honest with you, this finals appearance for Chris Paul doesn't dictate why he's in my top 5. I think he was always in my top 5. He's always in my top 5 that I've seen.
Yeah.
So for me, like, this finals doesn't make or break my top 5. But if you're going all time, see, like, I'm not hip to 1970s and stuff like that. I mean, it's a different era of basketball. So for me to compare a vintage player versus a modern player is just, how do you do that? Different rules, different players. I mean, now I feel like it's more impressive to be great in the NBA because of the amount of skill coming in. I mean, these athletes now are just so much better than they are back in the day.
I've always said that the skill level now is like
it's
better.
massive. It's much more. It's wildly increased.
Yeah.
So for me, like, I'm going to go with the 2000s and on, because like that's the level of competition was much stronger, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's where I stand with this.
Yeah. No,
So
that's awesome.
I'm
You went from the
different
2000s. I love that.
because I can't compare, man. Like I just for me, I don't believe in that.
It's fair though. I mean, like I said, it's open to your own interpretation.
And it's weird because I put Oscar in there simply just because of it took 40 years for somebody to do what he did.
You're respecting history, and see,
Yeah, like I had to do that.
Oh,
so I'm
salute
like,
history.
So
Absolutely.
that's awesome
that's
to
where
me.
I have to go too. I'm going to give you my top
Sure.
5, and you know I'm the stat guy. Like I have to give credit to the past because that's where the bar was set. You know what I mean? Like
at the bar.
So I'm going to go Magic, clear cut number 1. I'm not even going to discuss it. John Stockton, the ultimate playmaker, number 2. But subject to change. Like I think okay, like as we've been talking and even prior to the show, Steph just kept going up in my list. I'm like, everything he's done is just greatness, like things we haven't seen before. And I think that ultimately when his career is done, his resume is going to like literally elevate him up to number 2. Maybe even 1, depending on if he gets another ring. It's tough to get rid of Magic Johnson from number 1. So
I don't think he ever will.
So Steph, I already bumped up like 3 places on my list. And you will actually see there's a lot of people that don't have him in the top 5. It's kind of hard to believe.
Foolish.
I know. So, I mean, I'm putting him at number 3, and I think that's really respectable. Number 4, though, Isaiah Thomas. He's a champion. He averaged 19 points for his career. 12-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, Finals MVP.
With the Pistons, those
And
Pistons
I
teams.
mean, yeah, those. I mean, bully ball.
It's an iconic team.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And he was the leader of it.
And, I mean, if anything, he should probably be higher on my list. John Stockton didn't win shit. I mean, well, he had a successful team and all, but didn't win the rings. So, like, you know, if we're talking rings, then Isaiah's got to be up there. But number 5, I decided, all right, I'll give it to Oscar Robertson. I think I was leaning towards not having him there. I really love Steve Nash, but I can't ignore the history. Like, he was just so dominant. But I think he's going to be falling off that list. And I think, actually, I might be willing, okay? I know CP3 is not on my list right now, but if he does win this ring, which I think he will, I might be willing to bump him up to number 5. And that's pretty fair. I mean,
So it matters to you.
it does matter to me.
Okay.
To a degree. Like I said, John Stockton
I was gonna say,
doesn't have a ring.
Yeah.
But he backed it up with,
All-time assist
Just-
leader. Never missed the
like I
playoffs.
said,
Like, that's
11
pretty
time
wild.
All-NBA, 5-time All-Defensive. Like, this guy was just incredible.
I think
incredible.
he won the MVP in 97 and 99? Or 95 and 97?
I have a question, though. Quick question for you guys.
I don't see MVPs on here, but he was probably in the running. I'm sure. Might have been Karl Malone. But either way, like, John Stockton has to get some credit for that, you know?
Off the top of your head, this is going to tie in.
Go
but
ahead.
This is crazy. It's a weird scenario.
No,
Quick-
he never won an MVP.
Quick yes or no. Is Dan Marino in your top 5?
No.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So you have Dan Marino in your top 5 with no ring. So CP3 loses. He's not in your top 5?
No, I'm just saying to get past Oscar Robertson. He's got the stats, the ring, the dominance, same thing. Like it's just a different list. That's all it is. Like
Okay.
I love CP3 too. I'm a huge fan of his. So I'm more inclined to put him up there just because like everything Mike said, like just dominant everywhere he goes. He can carry a team, and he really didn't get enough love. He did not get enough love. It's nice to see him finally get his due. So like, I mean, I can probably even be convinced to put him there now, but I'm just respecting the history for a little tiny bit longer. That's all. Like,
Yeah, so it's a weird finals for me, like because I can compare Chris Paul to like 2 players right now, and this is like a wild scenario, and they're 2 different sports. But my thing is like Chris Paul, right? If he loses the finals, is he Dan Marino? And if he wins, is he Aaron Rodgers? Are they compared? Is it a fair comparison? Because my thing is,
you got me thinking right now. So
Rodgers is still playing, has 1 ring. Right? And he's been awesome.
Aaron Rodgers is a poor leader, though. What makes Chris Paul great is his leadership.
Well, what I'm saying is legacy-wise.
he's assumed to be a poor leader.
Who?
Aaron Rodgers.
He's always been. He's
But
always been
I'm
a prick.
talking legacy-wise. I'm talking like when you...
Yeah, but that stains your legacy. Look what it did to T.O. Being a prick does stains your
I
legacy.
think Aaron Rodgers is a type A who might be slightly arrogant at times, but he's definitely not a bad leader. No way. I'm watching this guy play from the sideline, Green Bay sideline. I'm ready to run through a wall watching this guy play. He inspires me to be better. He is also what? He doesn't?
I don't need... What do you see on the sidelines?
No, I'm saying like if he's on my team, this is my quarterback.
I see him sitting there with his team losing at the end of the 4th quarter constantly since he won
Yeah.
that Super Bowl. Confusion.
I'm just pointing out, like, look, I'm watching Aaron Rodgers play, and I want to play with this guy. I want this guy on my team. Mike. Mike.
But like, I think it's a fair comparison. Like, if he loses, he's Dan Marino. If he wins, he's Aaron Rodgers.
They're both in my top 5.
I don't
It's
know that
weird.
because
Hey,
hold
yo,
on.
off the top of my head, Aaron Rodgers and Dan Marino are in my top 5.
Oh, for
Okay.
fuck's
And
sake.
they're both arguably the most talented quarterbacks of all time, talent-wise. That's always been the thing. Dan Marino is the most talented quarterback of all time, and Aaron Rodgers is in that conversation.
I'm not going to hear... I'm not... This is not a top 5 quarterback.
No,
We'll get
but
there. We will
but
get
like,
there.
Your
We'll
point,
get there.
your point.
At a later episode.
What I'm trying to say is that your point, and we need to talk about that, but I am saying your point makes sense to me because Chris Paul's like that right now. It's like he's one of the most dominant, if not most talented of all time, and he could easily be in the top 5 just off of that alone. And he, like I said, when it's all said and done, he's going to be in my top 5.
Dude, it's so impressive what he's doing. Dude, they're 24 years old. Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton is even younger than that. I think DeAndre Ayton's like 22.
And he's nowhere near done. I think he's got a number of years left. So that's why I'm saying, like,
If he stays
Let-
with the Suns for
let
the next
Chris
3 years,
Paul
they're
just
a problem.
let him do it for a few more years. Not even. If he wins this ring, I'm already going to pump in my top 5. I already said it.
He certainly helped mature Booker and Ayton.
Hell
Absolutely.
yeah, dude. Oh, my God.
At a much faster rate than the Suns were hoping, and they hit the lottery with CP3.
Good for them.
I
man. They
wanted the
deserve it.
Sixers to get him so badly this offseason. So, yeah. Sign me up.
I just thought that
I
was
love
a
the guy.
Fun comparison.
Yeah.
because it's like it gets you thinking.
He's
like,
in that ballpark. He's like
Yeah.
he's right there. He's like he could be in the top 2. Mm-hmm. He's not even near done. I don't think. He's got a number of years left. He looks healthy. He's playing the best ball of his career, arguably. So, like, why can't he play for a number of years?
So out of the three that I talked about, Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, and CP3, who are you taking?
CP3.
CP3.
Yeah.
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 And I really didn't even have to think about it either. And I love all three of them. I really did. I grew up loving all three of them.
I like Jason Kidd more than Steve Nash too.
Like, the
love
funny
Jason
thing is,
Kidd, dude.
I think we forget how great these players were.
Oh, I'm not forgetting. I love them.
It's just like we live in the moment. You know, like CP3's in the finals. He's playing fucking lights out. So, like, for me, it's like we're living in the moment.
I'm not that
He's
kind of guy,
always-
though. Like,
he's always been good.
you're going to see, like, revisiting a number of our episodes. I'm not a recency bias guy. I'm the one who keeps it all in check. I'm not about that. I actually think he's just better. That's all. Plain and simple.
Just overall, he's just a better player.
I'm not about recency bias.
Yeah.
And he's a better defender than both of them.
And I hate that shit, by the way.
I'm a Nash guy.
I'm Mr. Perspective, okay? I keep it, you know, that's where we're going here.
The long hair, the flow.
I love
like,
Steve Nash, though.
bro, he was a baller.
I really
Like,
did.
I'm a fan.
He gave
Yeah.
hope to short guys.
Yeah. Yeah, he did. He honestly
For real, he did. He gave
inspired
hope
them.
to like short, dorky white guys.
He would shit on people too. With his crossovers and his fadeaways, like they were like unguardable. But
John Stockton, Steve Nash. Kind of very.
like I said, I
very
didn't watch
similar.
them, so I can't compare.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's
like, that's
okay.
just
It's
where I
okay.
stand, you know. But
I just cut you off though. Sorry. Go ahead.
no, I'm finished with my take. I was just kind of curious to see where you guys stood with CP3, Jason Kidd, and Steve Nash. So
Yeah.
you know, I mean, I figured you guys would go with CP3, but I figured I'd ask. You guys are in the moment kind of guys. So
No way. And I just said it. I just said it. I am not. Do not put me in there. No.
I know what you did there.
as a reminder, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. We would greatly appreciate it. And also, we want to hear from you guys. Who is in your top 5 point guards of all time? So please leave a comment in the comment section box below. We would greatly appreciate it. And we want to hear from you guys. So I'm curious to see what everybody's going to say. Are they going to go with my route, with the 2000s, or are they going to go with all time? I'm curious. I am.
Might be time for another poll.
I'm super curious.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Thanks for watching that clip of the Psychotic and Iconic Sports Podcast. If you want to watch the full episode, it is available on our YouTube channel. Please like, subscribe, and also hit the notification bell to get updated when we drop new heat. Be sure to check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. We will be releasing an episode every Friday at 8 a.m. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time at P&I.